Okay.
For anybody
For anybody who thought Donald Trump now leave the Bible alone, apparently not. He's finally given us his favorite Bible verse. I haven't heard him said. The boys say it is.
Really going to church with you. So we'll do that.
Yeah, Stephen Crowder is also
going
to be joining us to
discuss
the new
trendy
celebrity thing, boycott,
and
and
the
the political director
of
the Cruise Super PAC to explain exactly
how they are
how they are stealing the election,
how
how the delegate math actually works for coming at the gay convention, and why
I'm going to actually demand
I actually demand $150
that I've been paid.
paid.
He joins us.
He joins us
right now.
He joins us right now on the all-new LH Music Time Factor radio show at Peter K. Witt Institute at UNO. It's me, LH Music, and the Time Factor crew. And all of you don't mind, kick the theme music, shall we? Let's do it! The real conservator that lives right here inside your radio set. This is the LH Music Time Factor radio show. Time Factor! Oh, from the Peter K. Witt Institute at UNO.
All right.
It's me, LH Music, and Time Factor crew.
Is the political director for the Trusted Leadership PAC, which is one of those evil
super PACs.
Why are you so
Why are you so evil?
Well, it's just one of those things. But really
why
what
is
it is
so
in the super PAC
evil?
we run as in sense a parallel path to a political campaign. And usually super PACs are filled with trusted operatives that the campaign knows and is comfortable with. And there's a high wall between us, according to the Federal Election Commission, that we can't communicate with the campaign. So we look to see where the campaign is, what the message is from the candidate, in our case, Senator Ted Cruz, and where they are playing. And we will look at financial reports and see what ad buys they've made, the message that they are driving, and we will, in a sense, serve to drive that message home. Now, a super PAC is not constrained in the way that a campaign is. A campaign is locked in at a certain rate for maximum donors that can only give $2,700. A super PAC, the donations are unlimited. So we deal a lot with the major donors that help fund TV, radio, in our case, a lot of highly targeted voter ID and grassroots. Now that you have given me funneled through my charity $8 million.
That
money is because actually when you look at these other super PACs, you have to well,
oh
you could
boy.
find a way to get it back to
Oh gosh.
But unlike say the Jeb Bush super PAC that blew through $100 million, or Rubio's PAC that went through $70 million, we have raised and spent right at $30 million. So for us, it's one of the things where every dollar matters and how we spend it matters. You really have a problem. Everybody has a problem right now, right? That the money is staying off. A lot of people came in early, and a lot of the money has stayed off and said, you know what? I don't know who's going to win it. Is that true or not? We're actually starting to see some movement in our direction as it becomes clear that we are going to a contested convention. And there is a delegate path where Senator Cruz could win this on the second ballot at the convention. So we're starting to see a lot more movement from some of the traditional, what we would call establishment donors inside the Republican Party.
Can you go through the delegate map?
Because
this I think is going to be really confusing to me for Americans. This is stealing the election. This is the way it's done. It was done this way in 1976. It was done this way in 1950s. Abraham Lincoln won the presidency this way. This is the way it works.
So what happens in a lot of these presidential elections is you have pools of delegates to the national convention, sometimes that are picked a year in advance. So what you're seeing is when you have, say, a Donald Trump win South Carolina and take all 50 delegates, unfortunately for Donald Trump, he found out that those delegates had been picked a year in advance, and he would not have a say in who these delegates would be. These are not Trump delegates, per se, that will be be to represent South Carolina at the national convention.
If he had the 1237,
they would have to be Trump delegates. In fact, they are bound on the first ballot. So when you look at how a Republican convention works, obviously a Democrat as well, you have delegates that are bound through a certain number of ballots. So a lot of states, if a candidate wins, again going back to South Carolina, Donald Trump wins all 50, those delegates are bound by the bylaws of the party to vote for him on the first ballot. But if he doesn't get to 1237, and there's an increasing likelihood that he won't, then all of a sudden those delegates become unbound for the second, potentially third ballot of voting on the convention floor, and that is danger for Donald Trump.
They can do whatever they want at that point.
They can do whatever they want to at that point.
Donald Trump have any sway over this? If he says, look, I want you guys to continue to vote for me, because we've heard that you can bribe these people. You know, you can give them golf memberships if, let's say, you own beautiful golf courses all around the world.
Let's just say that the law regarding bribery and delegates at a national convention is murky at best. There's always the possibility there may be some things going on like that, particularly from a Trump campaign. But yeah, once the first ballot is over, a lot of state delegates are released to vote their conscience in the second and third ballot.
Let me ask you about the delegates. Because you've done this.
You've done this before.
So the delegates. Who
are these people? Generally,
I would think
there's two. Let me answer this. I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. You can take it when you go. One. Robbery.
Are they
believers enough
to
be offended by that? And two,
how are they going
to react to somebody
give out their address,
their phone number, their hotel room?
Well, let's start from that second question and work our way back. I think you're going to have a very vociferous reaction to being threatened. A lot of these folks are party loyalists. When you look at who usually goes to the conventions, it's usually a party. We don't have contested conventions. As you referenced, 1976 was the last time we had a contested convention inside the Republican Party. These are also conservative grassroots organizers. These are not traditionally on either camp Trump-type people. So when you look at the loyalists,
why do you say that?
Why do you say that?
Trump, when you look at who his natural base is, and he actually does have a base. Oh yeah, 50% of the people we've never seen before. They are independents. They are Democrats crossing over in these open primaries, which is why the next 6 to 7 weeks look tenuous. After we get out of the Northeast and head towards Indiana and West Virginia and Nebraska, these are all closed primaries. It looks like a tough road for Donald Trump over the last 5 to 6 weeks of this primary. He's not going to have independents and Democrats crossing over and voting in the Republican primaries. When you look at the delegate pool, as I referenced earlier, a lot of these people have been picked by the party hierarchy, sometimes as much as a year before these primaries actually took place. These are not people that are naturally going to be going towards Donald
Trump. Play devil's advocate. They're not. If they're establishment people, they're not likely to go to Ted Cruz either.
I mean, I think that all depends on Rule 40B, and there's been a lot of conversation about the impact that the Rules Committee will have on the 2016 convention. Rule 40. Let me roll this back a little bit. So you have a Rules Committee that meets the week before the convention. Each state or territory has 2 delegates per.
Okay.
And you will have 112 members on the Rules Committee that will actually meet and decide what the rules will be for the convention in 2016. Rule 40B right now states that you have to win the majority of 8.
Oh boy.
My phone is seemingly going off here, and
would you mind turn that thing off, please? Thank you.
Go ahead.
Go.
No, I don't, because I never carry my phone.
No,
I never carry my phone. I don't ever use it. Somebody else.
Back here. No one cannot interrupt me.
I love this show already.
Turn that phone off.
$8 million. I know. I hire somebody to.
Oh my God.
You hire a phone service.
Oh, jeez. Why? Why?
So anyway, let's yeah, so sorry. I lost you at, that's fine, because I'm coming back to you. All right, so when you talk about the Rules Committee, and I think that's the story that's becoming bigger and bigger as we go towards the convention, the Rules Committee always meets the week before the actual convention. Each state or territory gets 2 delegates apiece on this Rules Committee. So you're going to have 112 delegates that will decide what the rules for the convention will be. Currently, the party states that Rule 40B, you have to win the majority of delegates in 8 states. Okay? There are only going to be 2 candidates that will have the opportunity to be considered on the floor of the convention right now. Now, obviously, the rules could change the week before, and I'll talk about that later. But
states did Rubio win?
He won Minnesota.
One state. He only won a territory.
And a territory.
Yeah.
John Kasich has won Ohio.
There's only those 2 through the, even if they're suspended, there's only those 2.
Potentially. I mean, John Kasich may win Pennsylvania, but there are no other states that he can win. So at best, he's going to win 2 states going in. Right now, I think Ted Cruz is going to win 13 to 14 states when you look at the remainder of the states on the calendar. He's already won 7. And then obviously Donald Trump cleared the threshold of Rule 40B.
Oh, get
It's
out of
only for
here.
your listeners and your viewers, however, if you start to see Republican national committee men and women start getting appointed to the Rules Committee, there is a good chance that Rule 40B will change, and we potentially go from a contested convention to an open convention. And then that's when things could potentially get crazy. But if the Trump and Cruz campaigns are doing their job, you will see a Rules Committee stacked with their people, and Rule 40B will stay in place.
Okay. Is
Okay.
Donald Trump
Intention? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's really
crazy.
From a guy who's pitched his campaign as I'm the guy.
Makes me sick. I tell you one thing is, it makes me sick to my darn stomach if you know what I mean.
Walker's campaign. I mean, I think he's running around saying I hire the best people. How is it then if you hire the best people, you're hiring the guy that drove Scott Walker's campaign into the ground?
I'm a candidate. I like Scott Walker.
I mean, literally,
Yeah, this guy's good.
In this election season. And Rick Wiley drove his campaign into the ground in 7 to 8 weeks and blew through millions of dollars, and yet he gets hired by Donald Trump's campaign yesterday.
Wow.
My goodness.
One of the things is you needed to find someone who had some ability, which obviously Scott Walker saw something in Scott and Wiley, but also someone who was so down on their luck and had performed so poorly that they would take the job with Donald Trump. And he's kind of the sweet spot of those two things, right? I mean, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but that's kind of why they went to this guy. Because he's not completely without ability, but he's in a tough spot because of the Walker campaign. Walker was one of the front runners, a good candidate, a guy who really could connect with both sides, sort of an establishment and conservative side, and that his campaign ended before Jim Gilmore's did.
So what Stu is saying is he's taking the best available tier 3 talent right now. But you're right, he is.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. And Paul Manafort and Roger Stone. So
have you ever seen anything like this before?
Yeah, never heard of it.
What's going on? I don't think Trump expected to be in this long, to be honest.
I don't think so either.
I think this was something of a protest campaign. He said a few things that resonated with the grassroots, with the disaffected, and all of a sudden it's like he's taking off, and he doesn't have the infrastructure or the talent to see this thing to the end. Now, I think he is the least serious contender for a nomination that we've ever seen.
Yeah, in history. Oh my God, history. Oh my gosh, there's the nation. Oh my God. Now, but let's say somebody has moved to help Ted, right? And moved to help your super PAC. Is there a way they could possibly do that? I mean, how would they?
Oh boy.
You know where to go. What would they do? They have to drive someplace?
Oh.
Is there a high school on the corner?
There is
Yeah, secret panel that you cannot hide.
TrustedLeadershipPack.com. And I
wasn't paying a bit of attention. What is it again?
Well, let's go through it 3 more times so we get to it. It's TrustedLeadershipPack.com. And, for the listeners and the viewers, what we have done is we have really constrained any money that is staying in our bank accounts. We go through 2 different things. We go through and we spend every dollar that we've got on the states that are right before us. My dad used to be a world record holder in the mile, and he had this saying as we grew up, success begats success. And the whole idea is we go in, we win a state, all of a sudden we start attracting more donors. We go on, we pour resources into another state, we win. Wisconsin has been a huge boost for the Cruz efforts. Because all of a sudden donors are like, wait, you won a state you weren't supposed to win. You didn't just win it, you won it big. The other thing is this, we've kept our ad buy, our creative and ad buy guys at a low rate, 2.5. We've kept all the fundraising at 5%.
You do
what
Ted does
for Ted
in the campaign. Nobody gets a percentage
of the end.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. Is most ad buy guys are at 15%. We've locked ours in at 2.5%.
Wow.
My goodness.
A lot of fundraisers.
That's how people get rich.
Yeah, I bet it is.
So they do, and that's one of the things where we've been very transparent with folks of we are doing this because we really like Ted Cruz.
Yes.
It's amazing how many talented people we have on this super PAC. Again, covering the whole spectrum of the grassroots all the way up to TV and radio. And the whole idea is how do we pave the way for Ted to win? Then how also do we go after some of the opposition, like a John Kasich? We went after him in the last week in Wisconsin, and we saw his poll numbers drop 8 percentage points.
No, and that's all great, but I have short-term memory loss. What was that website again? One word?
TrustedLeadershipPack.com, one word. TrustedLeadershipPack.com.
Get the picture.
And I mean, the thing is, we use the funds that we raise there. I mean, so even these rallies.
Please don't, because he'll just encourage him to do it.
Oh.
Okay, stop.
Stop it. Stop it.
I was
leading into the rallies.
Yeah, you just did.
Where John
Kasich is
getting
his. Who is?
Let me just go there.
Let me go there and see.
Trusted leadership.
Oh well. Oh well.
Probably not. Now this, several years ago, Tanya and I were very frustrated. We were.
Time Factor Radio Show.
888-767-SEC.
Oh, former director of Chase Sangalo, American Center for Law and Justice. Jay is wonderful work. Great work. He is the current political director for Trusted Leadership PAC, TrustedLeadershipPAC.com.
Tell me a little bit
about the rallies. We want to talk
I
about the
think
huge
for
rallies.
us, you see all these massive Trump rallies that the media loves to cover. But, Glenn, because you've been a part of these great rallies with Ted Cruz, I mean, we're having 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people showing up at these. And everybody's like, well, what's the purpose of a rally? One, I think it energizes the candidate. Two, I think it energizes the supporters that then go home and get their friends and family engaged. The thing that we use these rallies for also is to recruit more volunteers. And again, unlike most super PACs that just raise and burn through a bunch of money so people get wealthy on TV ad buys, we are going after a targeted voter ID program and turning out the right kinds of voters. We saw that exemplified in Wisconsin. So these rallies that you've been showing up to and getting people fired up for, we are using them as recruiting opportunities to find people to plug into practical ways. Go hit 10 doors, go make 20 phone calls for Ted, and it has a world of it.
You go to these rallies that I've gone to, and I don't know about the rest of them, but you go to these rallies that I've gone to, they're electric and they're young. They are young. And people are coming with their families, 20-somethings are coming, and they, when you get out of them, you want to go and door knock.
The amazing thing is that the media is trying to drive this narrative that the younger generation doesn't like Ted Cruz, that he's not likable. I have to tell you, this guy is one of the most likable people you will ever meet. To hear him go through the Princess Bride lines and use his different voices, which frankly is terrible, but none of us are going to tell him. That's really not on air, is it? But nonetheless, he's one of those guys that the younger generation can see him. He's 46 years old, and he resonates with them.
At my house, we had all the crew. Just the other day, Ted was at my house, and we had all the crew here, and they're, in their 20s. And when they left, I can't tell you how many have come up to me yesterday and today and have said, he is the nicest guy I've ever seen, and funny. And he really, in a strange way, is very, very funny. But once you turn the camera on him, it doesn't work.
Well, but I think you're starting to see more of it, though, come through on camera. I mean, not only that, his wife Heidi is fantastic.
She will. I'd love to see her debate Donald Trump.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about Ted is he's multifaceted. The younger generation, he resonates with them. The big donors, these establishment donors, I know for a fact a lot of them are warming up to Ted because they're like, this is a serious guy. He knows what he wants to do. He's consistent. I think that's the big thing for Ted is he's consistent. The other thing is, too, they're like, look, he has a message that is starting to resonate with a lot more people than he ever did. Saying, well, he's constrained by his message. It's growing, and we're seeing a lot more people, and I think these upcoming states are going to prove that.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Drew.
Liz.
I appreciate it.
If you'd like to be a part,
you can
you
donate.
can donate.
Go to
Go to TrustedLeadershipPAC.com. TrustedLeadershipPAC.com.
Back in a minute.
Back in a minute.
This is the
LHMusicTime Radio Show.
Mercury.
Hello.